Alright everybody, how y'all doing, and welcome back to a tech vlog. Alrighty, so as we all noticed that the NVIDIA GTX 1630 GPU came out on June 28th, last month. We're about 2 weeks in now, and a lot of gamers are mad. Now, I'm gonna let this basically bring it basically to you. This is a GPU that no one should buy. Not a basic PC user, not a basic gamer like me, nor a basic anything dealing basic. Mid-levels and extremists, I prefer for y'all to stay away from this card. If you buy this card and y'all basically do benchmarking on it, you know what? Basically, I'm gonna make this clear to every content creator, and I'm not demoralizing you in any kind of way. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves in benchmarking this card, because it is a mediocre GPU. Okay, it is scraped half the die off the version 1650 that came out in basically 2019. Okay, in 2019, once again, NVIDIA decided to go ahead and shave half the die off another GPU to sell. And this is what I'm strictly said, that this basically needs to stop. We don't need a half rendering of another GPU to create a GPU for sale. And the only reason why NVIDIA doing this is because they're taking advantage of the demoralized GPU market, because they know a lot of people is not buying the RTX 30 series, and then you got the RTX 4000 series that's finna get ready to come out sometime next year or in October or September. This here is basically a disgrace on NVIDIA behalf, and if any content creator benchmark this card, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves in benchmarking this card. Now, I'm just like I said, I'm not coming after no benchmark, because no content creator that benchmark this card, excuse me viewers, you know, everybody needs to know. But you and I, as well as everybody else that got strong common sense, knows that this card is mediocre-ish. Alrighty, let's get into the specs of this card here, because I'm very disappointed that NVIDIA came out with a card like this here, and it's damn shameful. Alrighty, the NVIDIA Geforce GTX 1630 specifications. Status is official. Manufacturer is NVIDIA. Release date was June 28, 2022. Launch price of this card at MSRP is $169 USD. Board model is the NVIDIA PG177, but that's just the board model. But they should just basically say this is the NVIDIA GeForce 1650 version 2. The GPU is off 12 nanometers. It's on TU17150. As I said, it's half the die size of the 1650. The cores, the TMUs and the IOPs is core is 512, TMUs is 48, and IOPs is at 32. Now, this is where gamers, y'all have to pay close attention to this, because I'm going to keep it real with you. I do have my business administration degree, and on the business level, we know how to get into your heads. This is why we got to pay close attention into our psychology class, to go ahead on and brainwash you to go ahead on and buy a graphic card like this, or any mediocre product like this. See, base clock is okay. It's at 1740 megahertz. Boost clock. See, this is where gamers get all excited from. The boost clock is at 1785 megahertz. That's the selling point. That's the selling point that start luring every gamers in to buy this graphic card. But see, y'all failed to keep in mind that the effective memory clock is 1200 megabytes per second. The max computing power is FP32 1.83 teraflops. The memory size is at 4096 megabytes on GDDR6. This is a 4 gigabyte graphic card. only reason you can do with a 4 GB graphic card is play puzzle games. That's it. The sad thing is, most graphic cards stop doing 64-bit because we do more with our streaming bus width. Is we need more bit power. This is like having a GT 210. Now, only thing separates this graphic card from the 210 is the memory size. You get 4 GB of GDR6, and on the GT 210 you get 1 GB of GDDR5. You get both bandwidth is at the same as 64-bit. The memory bandwidth is at 96-bit gigabytes on both those cards. The interface is PCI Express 3.0 x16 lanes. Now, certain cards is not using the full length of the lane. Some of them using x8. Some of them using x16s. The ones that have the x16s has a PCIe 6-pin power connect. The thermal design power, which you already know, that when you plug your GPU in the PCIe x16 slot, it gives you 75 watt TDP of power to push the lanes of the graphic card. Now, as I was saying, on the psychology part, a lot of manufacturers are putting gaming on the graphic card. See, as long as they sit down here and make this graphic card gaming, they know that gamers will buy it. For a simple basic gamer like me, I would not buy it because it's kind of contradicting. Just like I said, certain graphic manufacturers are putting it at the full 16 lanes. Some manufacturers are putting it at the X8 lanes. Now, let's go over the specs of the card. Now, as you see, your three variants: the Geforce GTX 1630, the Geforce GTX 1650, as well as your Geforce GTX 1050. Now, by looking at this chart right here, I can see which one is the better graphic card. And if y'all didn't figure this out yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and point it to you. The Geforce 1650 is a better graphic card for basic users to use. Whether you are a office clerk or PC user, whether you are a home office PC user, whether you just browse the internet and download music, movies, etc., or just watch music, movies, listen to music, watch movies from Netflix and Hulu at home, then the Geforce GTX 1650 is good for you at 1080p. Now, this, and you can look at the chart to see that the GTX 1630 is a mediocre-ish graphic card. Okay, just like I said, it came out in June 28, 2022. That was last month. The 1650 relaunch date was April 3rd, 2020. It is of the 12 nanometers Turing TU-117-150. The GTX 1650, which is half the die size, is of the 12 nanometers Turing TU-117-300. Yes, the GTX 1630 is using half the die size of the 1630. Now, would I call this graphic card the 1630? Absolutely not. I would call this the Geforce GTX 1650 version 2 low buff graphic card. Keep that in mind by me saying that. Now, the CUDA cores is at 512. The CUDA cores on the 1650 is at 896. The boost clock is at 1785 megahertz. The boost clock is at 1590 megahertz. That's the only thing beats this graphic card is the boost clock. The memory clock is at 12 gigabytes per second on both cards. The memory size is 4 gigabyte GDR6 on both ends. The bus width. Here's the funny part about it. And you can see this card mediocre On our graphic card, to do more in rendering, we need to be at 128-bit memory bus. 64-bit memory bus will only give you 720p if you're uploading videos on Twitch and YouTube. Yes, 720p. Now they said the graphic card, the GTX can support 1080p, barely. But please do not play the Geforce GTX 1630 on 1440p because it is unplayable and you're gonna get some bad, horrible FPS. This is why I'm letting gamers know you need to stay away from this graphic card. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Now, if you didn't figure this out and you just run out because you need a graphic card, then oh well, you needed a graphic card. But if you're only playing basic games means that you are playing, your games cannot go no higher than 60 FPS. If your games crank over 60 FPS, then you're going to get some massive bottlenecking with the GTX 1630. And if you're playing high-end rendering titles with this graphic card, then gamers, you should be ashamed of yourself for even pushing those titles like Red Redemption, Doom Eternal, and any other graphic cards that came out, any other games that came out supporting high-end graphic cards to play at decent FPS. Now, this is one reason why I said that the bandwidth, the 192 gigabyte bandwidth on the 1650 is good for me. But see, one thing what I would do was I would just jump the 1650 alone and just step up to the tier of the 1660. At least I got a 6 gigabyte graphic card that's going to go ahead and give me a little better gameplay than what it is. Now, we all know that TDP on this graphic card is 75 watt total power. That's it. Some graphic cards comes with the PCIe Power Connect. Some don't. The ones that don't, you just gonna only get nothing but 75 watt of power. If you are on a 400 or better power supply, then you're gonna get a little better performance with the graphic card because they're helping out the PCIe X16 slot on the board. So the little more power you're getting off your PSU to help that PCIe X16, then you good to go. Now, the launch price, the MSRP price of this GTX 1630 is $169 USD. The GTX 1650 is $149 US. That's $20 differential. Now, let's just scratch the MSRP and let's go to retail suggested price. EVGA has decided to sell this graphic card for $199. So the RSP value of this graphic card of the Geforce GTX 1630 is ranging from $180 to almost $199.99 USD dollars, which is damn near mediocre-ish. Yes, I said damn near. I could have written different, but I'm trying to keep it nice and clean for the viewers. The base USD dollars on this graphic card should have been no more than $69.99 to close to $89.99 because it just showed mediocre tier level. Now, certain manufacturers decide to go ahead and give you the full 16x lanes, but if you're not getting the full 16x lane on Tech Power Up, the full specs of this graphic card, yes, just like I said, as you notice, you are on the TU 117-150. That is half the die of the 1650 that is on the TU 117-300. So you get half the die size of this graphic card, which is pathetic. And this is one reason why in video, when you come out with a graphic card, be more realistic with it. Give it a new interface. If I wanted to come out with the 1630, I would have went head on with the TU 117-200. That's it. I don't have to sit down here and scrape nothing. I got a new chip number, a new die size number, everything running good and clean. 4 GB. I would have brought the bandwidth up to 128 bit. At least I know you can do a little more with it. Streaming wise, you can stream with it. Live stream, basic live streaming. Like if you want to sit down here and do a concert, of course you know your GPU, your CPU is going to help the GPU out. But just for basic streaming, live streaming, then like on Twitch, if you want to sit down here and do a live stream, a PC build without playing games or anything like that, then that's good for that. But playing video games with this graphic card, live streaming, cancel that. That's a big total no-no with that though. You cannot live stream and play video games with a 4 GB graphic card, period. So now, by me going over this here's where it is recommended gaming resolution. As you see, it is good on 1600 by 900. That's basically your 720p. At 1080p, it's playable. At 1920 by 1080, it is playable. But when you step to the big boy guns with 250/60 by 1040, that's your 4X, that's your 4K, your 4K resolution. It is unplayable. So this is one reason why I tell all the gamers that is on high-tech gear such as your monitors, etc. This graphic card is not for you. And to content creators who benchmark this graphic card, only thing you did was basically you just heard it your channel. I want live stream this mediocre graphic card to anybody. I will not put this in my friend's computer, which I'm going to do in about a couple of months prior out. This is a garbage graphic card. They shouldn't talk about it. Now here's the confusing part about it, because I kind of like, show all respect to the manufacturer who got the PCB, the printed circuit board, which you already know that the blueprints. They decided to go with the full PCIe X16 instead of going with the full PCIe 3.0 X8. Yes, the bus face interface. Now some of the cards may be lying to you, but on Tech Power Up, the bus interface is PCIe 3.0 X8 on the Geforce GTX 1630. So it's kind of like contradicting here. So if you do get one with a PCIe power connect, that's great, because the recommended power for this graphic card is 250 watts suggested power. So if you get one with a PCIe connection slot, or you get one without, your recommended power is no lower than 250. Cause see, with 300 watt power slot, it helps the 75 watt TDP coming off the PCIe X8 or X16 slot. It gives a little boost performance to the graphic card. Now, if it's with the power connect, that's great. Take off with it. But for the price set point, as well as it's another 4 GB graphic card, at least AMD, kept it real with you. Their RX 6400 is better than this GTX 1630. The only thing with the RX 6400 XT is at PCIe 4.0 X4. So you get half that completely lane size of the PCI card, or the GPU of the RX 6500 XT. But other than that, because this is kind of like contradicting here. On Tech Power, they don't lie about anything. You want the full specs of any graphic card, you go to Tech Power Up, you put in the graphic card you're looking for, and it gives you the full specs of the card. So here, just to see this here, the PCIe 3.0 X8 lanes, and then you see in some graphic card manufacturers are setting it at PCIe 3.0, which it is. It's on the old board. So if you have the 300 series or any 1200 platform that still is on the PCIe 3.0, than good. You could put in a PCI 16 slot, but you may not get the full renderation speed of the graphic card, because on Take Power Up, it's saying that it's at PCIe 3.0 x8. And certain manufacturers such as Game Ward, Colorful, EVGA, Asus have one, but Asus didn't launch it yet, because if I was Asus, I'll just leave this graphic card alone. If you want it, buy it off a website, but majority is, I would suggest just stay off of it. It is kind of embarrassing to go ahead on and see the Geforce GTX 1630 on the market for the price they selling it at is mediocre-ish. Just like I said, this graphic card should have been no more than starting point $69.99 to about $89.99, between $70 to $90. I won't go over $100 with this graphic card. You could make it at $99.99, but a mediocre-ish graphic card is horrible. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll be putting my slides up at the end of this video. To go ahead on the basic level games that I play. So I'm looking for a GPU. So I'm just going to sell the story to you. I went to the store looking for a GPU and I ran across this sale. I buy it. So using PC Game Benchmark and their website and their stuff that put up, I'm gonna be comparing this with my gaming rig. Now, you know, my gaming rig, I did a video where I had put a high-end TMP 2.0 on a 1.2 TPM header, and I kind of like fried out the TPM header so it won't boot up. I get 3 beep sounds. So I ordered another motherboard, the Asus motherboard. The chip CPU is the i7 3770. I'm at 32 gigabyte of RAM, and I will be plugging in the Geforce GTX 1630 for the refrigeration of the gameplay. Now, I will be putting the numbers down in the percentage level. Now, keep in mind, using this website, anything under 80% on your GPU is crappy. It is bottlenecking. So keep that in mind, that it will be bottlenecking. Anything over 80%, that means it's that stable play. So I'm going to be comparing it to the games that I play, such as my Siberia 1, 2, and 3, Warframe, Dark, Inside, EVE Online, as well as Star Trek. Of course, you know, Angry Birds at Airport City do not requires that much off the GPU or the CPU, but I'll be putting that in, comparing that as well to my Gems of War and etc. or other gameplay I can think of. Now I will be doing 3 using PC Game Benchmark using my Ryzen 5 3600. Still the same thing, is at 32 gigabyte, but I'm going to be taking out the graphic card, and I'll be substituting this graphic card in with this here, playing 3 of the high-end games with this graphic card, such as Fortnite, Valorant. What else games that I could think of? Redemption. I'm not gonna compare Cyberpunk because that game is mediocre-ish. Certain games that y'all gamers like to play, I'm gonna be comparing it with using this here GeForce GTX 1630, and the slides gonna be putting up at the end of it. Just like I said, I gave my end thoughts of it, and I'm giving it to my final end thoughts of this graphic card to all content creators, as well as gamers, as well as basic PC users. Basic means office clerical that do not play video games. So gamers and content creators, y'all keep that in mind. About 70% to 60% of y'all play video games. The other 30 as well as 40% don't play video games. So it's gonna be into that 40 to 30% breakdown. So y'all keep that in mind, that 40 to 30% of the worldwide don't play video games, and they're looking for something to use. And as a basic PC user that just have an office clerical rig at home or in your office, whatever, doing your spreadsheets, you got your office or home office, monitoring your stock sales as well as trades, etc. Would I recommend this graphic card to you? Absolutely not. And that's my final of this to all content creators. Do not benchmark this graphic card. It is a mediocre graphic card. Now, to the people who say I need a damn graphic card, I'm going to buy one, so the hell with what people saying, then that's on up to you. But for a person like me, absolutely not. I would not be buying the Geforce GTX 1630. I would buy out of the two options. I would buy the RTX 2060 or the Geforce GTX 1660 Super or the overclocking one. Those are the only two graphic cards I would buy if I was in need of a graphic card. To all the viewers, I want to thank y'all for watching. I'll see you in the next tech vlog. Peace.